Hi Gemini, welcome to your March 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I'm actually going to be taking a bit of a break from those, but I should resume them by the time I post the April videos up, or worst case when we actually physically get to April. But if I decide to start them up again earlier than that, just keep an eye out for the community section of the channel where I'll make an update. Alright, as far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic Cross spread, and then I have a couple of Oracle cards I pulled for us once you get through the main spread, and also a mudra card. So, getting started with the main spread. Main situation position, we have the Nine of Wands. So this is actually Sagittarius energy here, which for you guys is your opposite sign. But what I'm picking up on more than anything, what I'm seeing with this card is this makes me think of the Eight of Wands first, right? Which is all that action and activity taking place, a lot of things coming your way. And I see this as almost the aftermath to that, right? Which is to say that, people could be putting a lot of demands on you this month. Maybe you feel like people are contacting you left and right and you could just be getting a bit overwhelmed with it. For a lot of you, I feel like this can be around your work situation as well. But yeah. This actually will make a little bit of sense too, as far as you guys are going to be dealing with Mercury retrograde in your 10th house, which is your house of career and social status. And given that you guys are ruled by Mercury anyway, right? It stands to reason that you guys would feel the effects of that more than most signs. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling there. It just feels like people could just be putting a lot of demands on your time and energy, and you could just be feeling a little bit worn down in the process. Now, for some of you, it can work the other way, given that this represents your 7th house, which could just be saying that other people might be viewing you this way, where, they might feel like you're the one who's being a bit demanding. But for most of you, I feel like it's the other way around, where you just have a lot of demands on your time right now. In the challenge or obstacle position, we got a few cards. We have the Emperor, which is the major arcana card for Aries, Knight of Swords, which is the court card for Gemini, which is you guys, and then we have the Death card, which is the major arcana card for Scorpio. So here you are wedged in between two pretty serious major arcana cards, right? And plus these are both 4 energy, the Emperor obviously being 4 and then Death being 13 reduced to 4. So again, I feel like this is pointing to that same theme that I was saying with the Nine of Wands, which is to say you could just be feeling like there's a lot of pressure on you right now. Let's just look at a couple of practical ways this could be playing out. So for one, let's say that this is a boss of yours, right? With the Emperor energy there, and maybe they're just putting a lot of demands on your time, right? They keep piling stuff onto your desk. Again, like I said, Mercury retrograde in your 10th can not only lead to an increase in work, but also having to redo things, right? So they could be, for example, hey, we realized that back in December, just a random time period, we had this project, we realized there were some mistakes on it, we needed to go back over it again, right? And you're like, okay, well, I have my current work that I have to do, now you're trying to give me work to look at again from the past. How am I going to find the time for that, right? So this could be you guys actually speaking up for yourself in that regard and putting an end to it, where, maybe they're, again, just being a bit too demanding of you, and you might have to actually confront them about it with the Knight of Swords energy to actually put it to an end. Now, keep in mind, this card tends to come up for me a lot when we have Mercury retrograde, which to me actually makes sense because if we look at the direction the horse is moving in, they're moving towards the past, right? And given that you guys are ruled by Mercury, this makes me think of Mercury in retrograde, which is it goes backwards through the zodiac. So try to make sure that you're not coming across as a bit too combative too. So just be mindful of that. Again, for a lot of you, I feel like you would be justified in actually confronting people if they are putting a bit too much demand on your time, but just try to be mindful of how you might come across to them, because again, it is your house of career and social status. And we see 7th house energy here, so this could also be pointing out how people are viewing you at this time. But yeah, with the Death card, after all that, I do see that whatever the situation is, it looks like if there is a discussion, it could come to an end. And most likely in a positive way, given the surrounding cards I see anyway. But yeah, definitely you might feel a bit of pressure coming into the month. In the foundation position, we have the Five of Cups. So this is actually Scorpio energy here, which for you guys is your sixth house. So again, we see that potential for this to be pointing to a work situation. But this could also be disappointment in love as well. We see the three cups knocked over there, but there are still the two standing in the background, right? And what I always realize with this card, given that we see a lot of neutrality, right? The sky in the background just looks like it's gray. It's not blue, it's not black. And then to me, that points to you do have some say in how the situation plays out, as far as this is saying if you want to stay in this energy, looking at the cups that are spilled, you can do that for as long as you want, right? But at the same time, if you want to turn around and look at the two cups that are still standing, there's that opportunity too. So this is just to say that it's one thing if you need some time to get over some kind of a disappointment, right? But it's just saying that whenever you're ready to move forward, the universe is there to greet you already. You know what I mean? So, and to help you with the rebuilding process too, right? If we do think about that, yes, there are three knocked over there and only two in the background, right? So, you know, you might have gotten knocked back a bit in a certain way, but looks like there's definitely potential to move forward. In the past situation, we have the Ace of Swords. So this is actually a card that usually points to truth and revelation. Now, sometimes it's not directly expressed through another person, but sometimes it could be more of an insight that comes to your mind. And the reason I say that is we see the ace cards in this deck always have a card, or rather a hand reaching from the clouds, right? So that makes me think of something that's in the idea stage, maybe not necessarily presented and communicated, but it could just be a thought that you have. So maybe when you guys had that full moon in Leo, which is your third house of communication, you guys might have come to a realization about a situation. So for some of you, could have been that, okay, I really need to have a talk with my, supervisors at work because they're overloading me with work, right? So it could be as simple as that. Or again, maybe for some of you, you might have realized that you might have been coming across a certain way that you didn't necessarily realize before that time. So I feel like primarily that's what's coming across for you guys here. Or, quite frankly, it could have been flat out that maybe you'd received communication that, hey, we have a lot of stuff we need to get done in March, right? So maybe you already knew coming in, but now you're just overwhelmed. Like, okay, I knew this was coming, but it's more than even I expected, right? So that could be what's going on there. All right, in the present position, we have the Lovers. So regardless of what's going on here, like I said, it's definitely some pretty heavy energy in the challenger obstacle position. But to see the Lovers card showing up here and then pretty much positive cards progressing from there too, given that this is the major arcana card for your sign, to me this is an indicator that you guys will be able to handle it, whatever the situation is. For some of you, could this represent possibly a love connection getting back off the ground? It's certainly possible. Again, I'm still feeling like for 80% of you, this is probably going to be mostly work related, but yeah, I can see that as well, given that we do see the disappointment in the foundation, Ace of Swords in the past, right? Now we see this energy. So it is possible that this could also represent, given that we did have the 7th house energy there, someone coming back around where maybe you guys just have to have it out, right? So maybe this energy represents someone else where maybe you guys did need to clear the air. And maybe that gets things back on track between the two of you. But yeah, overall, again, even in the work dynamic, if you had to clear the air there too, this could just represent some restoration of harmony. So definitely pretty good energy there. And for those of you who do watch this before we physically do get into March, keep in mind maybe you haven't gotten to this point yet because this is the present energy, but it's for a March reading. So for some of you might already be here, others of you might take till you get into March to feel this energy. All right, in the near future position, we have the Sun. So now with all the stuff that we were just talking about with the 10th house, Mercury retrograde and everything, the majority of the month you are going to have energy moving through your 10th house, which is again the house of career and social status. So this could just be saying that you guys might be in the spotlight in some way, shape, or form. Now, initially it looked like it might have been in a negative way, right? As far as people just putting so much demands on you. But again, like I said, I feel like whether you discuss this with them and get them to delegate some of that work to others, or they let you do so, it looks like things do start to turn around. So I do see some positivity here. For some of you, this could even represent maybe just the pressure being alleviated when the sun moves into Aries, because Aries is definitely a more friendly energy for Geminis than Pisces. So it could just be one of those things too, and maybe even that's what these cards are pointing to, which is to say that for some of you, those demands are just going to be on your time until the sun moves into Aries, given that this is Aries here, and by then Mercury will be back at full speed, and then the death could just be saying, once you get to that time, towards the end of March, the more hectic energy where you feel a bit overwhelmed might be coming to an end. But yeah, overall, this represents pretty light and playful energy as well. This is, generally speaking, it's not the major arcana card for Leo, though we do see that right there. But this can also represent fifth house energy for you guys too, so this can definitely be another indicator that maybe you guys do get a love connection back on track. But yeah, either way, this is definitely a good energy to see in the near future position, especially given the tense energy we see in the main situation and the disappointment in the foundation. All right. The card representing your influence on the situation, we have the Strength card, so Leo energy here. And really, your fifth house is quiet, so I don't necessarily see that pointing to that, per se. But at the same time, given that, like we were saying, Leo is your house of communication, and we did have the full moon there recently. We're going to have Mercury retrograde, which can affect your communication. So this could just be saying that, maybe you have to bite your tongue in a certain way, shape, or form, right? If we look at it, it looks like the woman's trying to close the lion's mouth there. So could just be saying that, again, like I said, it does look like you do need to actually confront the situation, but this could just be saying maybe just to try to temper how you come across, understanding that even if you don't mean to come across combative, you might seem that way given the Mercury retrograde in your 10th. It could just be how others view you. So could just be saying almost a kill them with kindness type thing, right? Where you let them know, hey, this is too much for me right now, right? You talk it out, let them know. Maybe they could truly be oblivious to it too, because again, having that Mercury retrograde in your 10th could just mean people within your work environment might be in a bit of a fog too and not realizing, oh yeah, you're right, I forgot you had these projects already for March and we just dumped some stuff from the past back on your table because we needed it done again, right? So that could be what that's pointing to there. Or just saying that you'll have the energy and vitality to get it done too. So again, especially for those of you with the Ace of Swords saying that you guys knew this was coming, could just be saying that, yeah, it might be a pretty intense month for you guys, but you can get through it. And there could be some recognition for doing so in the process. In the environment position, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So for some of you, this could actually be possibly being given some space to work independently, right? So maybe that's part of it where you're like, okay, well, if you guys need me to do all this stuff, I need to be able to do it my way, right? Because this is a very independent type of energy we see here. This is technically Virgo energy. So for some of you, that might even be a compromise too, where they might let you work from home, right? Where they're like, okay, well, this is an insane amount of work. Add my commute to that, right? That's just a lot of time. So if you guys let me work from home, that cuts out my commute, right? I'll feel a little bit more comfortable getting work done, right? So maybe even that's the compromise some of you might reach. For others of you, this could just be saying that you might even trying to get your own work off the ground, or this could just be pointing to, again, like I said, if you just point out to people in your workplace, hey, I'm overwhelmed with all this stuff, this could represent, once you have that talk with people and let them know the situation, this could represent others in your environment chipping in as well to help you get the job done. So that could be how that's playing out there. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Judgment card. So usually this represents the rebirth of something, and this is also a Scorpio energy for me. So again, maybe this is something coming back around from the past, and maybe this is even representing you getting recognition, right? Because if we look at the way that that's playing out, that's what it looks like there. So maybe this is some of you guys hoping to get some recognition for the fact that maybe you brought something back from the dead, right? Again, maybe there was something that got screwed up previously. Maybe they came to the realization, oh, we really messed up and dropped the ball on something in the past, right? And maybe you have to kind of come in to save the day in a certain way, right? So that could be just saying that you're hoping for recognition there. For others of you, again, like I said, I don't feel like it's going to be for the majority of you, but for some of you, this can represent a love relationship coming back around too. And what stands out to me is, as interesting, is if we look in the present position there, we see that angel symbolism. Right here, we see the angel symbolism. And then at the bottom of the deck, we also see more angel symbolism. And this is temperance, actually. So at the bottom of the deck, this is more Sagittarius energy. Again, opposite sign, can be relationships, but just partnerships in general too. And this also represents balance being restored. So I do feel like however hectic things may seem this month, it looks like things are actually going to work out fairly well. In the outcome position, we have the Seven of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. So, yet more Scorpio energy. So I do have to say, for some of you, this could actually be a Scorpio you've been dealing with. And maybe that's, what this conflict was about. Maybe getting things clear in the air with that person. Given that we do see so much Scorpio energy. But again, like I was saying for you guys, Scorpio represents your sixth house of work and daily routine too. So that could be what all this is pointing to. And what I feel like would be the case here, if this is pointing to your work life, could just be saying that you're confused as to where all this is going, right? Like, okay, I'm really working hard, trying to get all of this stuff done, right? Is it going to lead me to my financial abundance, right? I do say that seeing these two cards together, I feel like there could be some definite rewards from this work. So, like I said, and maybe that's what the angel symbolism we see here is too, which is to say to have a little faith that, yeah, things might be a bit crazy right now, but it actually will end up paying off for you guys in the long run. So just try to ride it out, because these are such contrasting energies. This is a lot of confusion, not seeing things clearly, and this represents stability, success. So, to see this underneath that Seven of Cups could just be saying that you're not seeing that what's on the other side of this, what might feel like confusion and being overwhelmed. On the other side of that is the stability and success you're looking for. So that's the primary way I'm reading it there. I'll see if anything else comes to mind. And quite frankly too, another way all of this Scorpio energy could be playing out could also be again, since Scorpio is the natural ruler of the 8th house, your 8th house is Capricorn, and there's a ton of energy in that sign right now, too. We've had Saturn there for a while. It's actually going to move into Aquarius toward the very end of the month, but we've had Saturn there for a long time. Pluto, obviously, still going to be there for a few more years. Jupiter moved in there. Mars recently. Well, actually, I think at the time I'm recording this, I might not have gotten there yet, but maybe it just did, actually, but it's definitely going to be there all of March, at the very least. So, could be pointing to 8th house matters for you guys, too. Alright, so moving on to the Oracle cards. First card we have is Happy Happy. There's the artwork, and the number is 28. Oh, excuse me, 26. Alright, it says joy and contentment, a sense of fulfillment, a feeling that all is well. The Oracle's message, your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present moment, whatever is happening, and be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing and able to experience the liberation that comes from actually being happy, moment to moment, for you have chosen happiness over yearning for it. Now is the time for feeling joy for the sake of joy and experiencing contentment. None of this is because of something outside yourself. Your happiness is a result of your being at one with Spirit's plan for your life. All is well. The tide is in for now. Enjoy playfully splashing in it. So yeah, like I said, and definitely it could be even leading up into March and maybe in early March. Things are still a bit overwhelming, but I definitely feel like I was saying at the very worst, probably by the time the energy starts to shift into Aries, by then Mercury will be moving at full speed again, right? That all of that workplace stuff might be cleared up by then. So that could be what this is pointing to here, because we do see the sun in the near future, the lovers in the present. So it looks like you are actually moving towards a lot of positivity. All right, the relationship message says there are moments in a relationship when you just feel good about whom you're with. and you know that your heart is wide open to befriend, to love, and to care for another without wanting anything in return. This is the kind of happy that you just want to share. The appearance of this card in a reading tells you that joy and contentment are here now, not somewhere else or off in the future. The grass is greenest right where you stand. Be grateful and delight in your relationship, and if you're seeking one, be happy now. Happiness attracts more of itself, like bees to honey. So definitely a pretty interesting message there too. And for some of you, like I said, maybe that whole thing, the last sentence talking about happiness attracts more of itself like bees to honey, could be saying that maybe during that full moon in Leo, like I said, maybe some of you came to a realization that maybe you were coming across a bit guarded, right? And possibly even combative. And maybe that's where you get realigned in that regard, and then things start to come your way in a more positive way. All right, the prosperity message says this is a time to take pride in your accomplishments. You're doing good work, providing exceptional service, and are well compensated for it. The world rains gratitude upon you, and you're happy with the results of your efforts and creativity. Isn't it amazing to consider all that you have done? Remember your partnership with Spirit in this moment, too. Your soul has always known you could accomplish anything if it brought you joy. So definitely a pretty positive message there, especially, like I said, there was a lot of work vibes that I was picking up with this one. So hopefully that resonated with you. All right, moving on to the cards you guys got from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. We have Turkey Spirit. It says give with gratitude and grace. There's the artwork and the number 61 here. Okay, it says Turkey Spirit's message for you is that you always have the potential for manifesting a rich reality, for the turkey represents generosity and a celebration of abundance through giving to others. Give freely without expectation and you shall receive, for the manifestation of abundance is happening right now. Align with it by sharing your good fortune with others, whether you give money, loving guidance, the gift of listening, or kindness in any form. Immerse yourself in the flow of generous abundance, being a channel for Turkey Spirit and a desire of Spirit to see all beings experience the blessing of plenty. Give with gratitude and grace from a wellspring of love and compassion, knowing that Spirit will respond by giving you all you need in this moment and all moments to come. So yeah, that message there definitely makes me think of what I was saying there, where we see a lot of that angel symbolism right up here. So it could just be pointing to that as far as, just having faith that, hey, you do have enough to get through whatever situation you're dealing with and also to give to others. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. All right, the last thing we have is a mudra card, and you guys got the Kapittha mudra. There it is there. And the keyword for it is creativity. Okay. So there's the information on it there if you guys wanted to pause it or take a screenshot. But under benefits, it says can be used as a tool for sexual healing, releasing guilt and shame around sexuality, increases sensitivity and receptivity, stimulates healthy libido, opens the connection between the pelvis and heart, expands feelings of devotion and loving kindness. So, well, I did say you guys have a lot going on in your 8th house, so maybe this would be beneficial for you guys too. But that sounds like a mudra you'd be interested in looking into a little bit more. I will put the name of it in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.